All right. Let's dive into something a lot of you have been asking about. Small talk in English.
Yeah,
I know dissecting casual chit-chat, kind of ironic for a deep dive.
right.
But stick with me. We've got this video.
Okay.
It's a totally normal taxi ride, but so much we can learn from it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like how much we reveal
Yeah.
without even meaning to in those everyday exchanges.
Yeah. It's where you see real fluency come alive.
Okay, so picture this. You're a woman, you just got off a business trip to China, you hop in a cab,
Even that, right there. Instant small talk material.
right?
Travel, common ground. Most people have got something to say about that.
Exactly. And the driver picks up on it, asks where she's flown in from, but then he adds, "You don't look very Chinese to me, if you don't mind me saying so." I mean, that could have gone south so fast.
True, but he totally saves it. That, if you don't mind me saying so, is crucial. Like, he knows it could be sensitive, gives her a way out if she wants it.
It's like a little safety net you can build into your conversation. Are there any other phrases in English that smooth things over like that?
Oh, tons. Like, later, he asks her age, which, could be risky, but he throws in excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but
Okay, so you're kind of disarmed a little because he's upfront about maybe crossing a line, but he's also showing he's genuinely curious.
exactly. It's that balance, curiosity versus being intrusive. In some cultures, asking age directly is fine.
Right.
But in lots of English-speaking ones, no-go,
Yeah.
especially with someone you've just met. Cultural awareness is key.
Which brings us to this gem he uses when she calls him out on it. Don't get me wrong, native speakers use that all the time. What are they really saying there?
It's all about clarifying your intention. Like, if what you're saying could be taken the wrong way.
Especially if it's negative.
Right. That phrase reassures them, you're not trying to offend them.
It's like saying, hey, I'm not trying to be rude, just want to be sure we're on the same page, but in a much smoother way, keeps the tone positive. And it's those subtleties that make you sound really fluent, right?
Absolutely. Now, the passenger, she uses this phrase that makes no sense grammatically. What about yourself? It should be, what about you? But
It just works. What about yourself? Feels friendlier somehow, like you're really inviting them to share.
right. One of those things formal English class won't teach you, but that's real everyday speech for you.
Okay, so we've hit on a couple of topics that can be a bit awkward in small talk. Is there like a forbidden list when it comes to chatting in English? Like, what are some things you should definitely steer clear of?
It's not so much a rigid list, more like reading the room. Age we've seen can be tricky, salary, someone's marital status. Those are things you save for when you know someone better.
Yeah, I don't want to come across as prying when you're just trying to be friendly.
Yeah.
So if those are off limits, what are some things that are generally safe and engaging to talk about in English?
Honestly, almost anything can work. Travel, hobbies, even current events, as long as you keep it light. Food, movies, anything you're actually interested in.
So finding common ground, but it's not just the topic, right? Is how you engage.
Huge. Active listening is key. Not just hearing the words, but really showing you're present. Eye contact, nodding, asking those follow-up questions.
You're reading their body language, their expressions. It's like there's a whole other conversation going on beneath the surface. How do you know when things are starting to fizzle out?
Yeah.
And how do you get out of it gracefully?
The art of the graceful exit, that's a whole skill in itself.
All right, so is that where we pick up next time?
Yeah.
Because I'm already feeling like I need to try out some of these tips in real life.
Definitely. We'll get into those exit strategies and more in our next segment.
Awesome. Can't wait. And for everyone listening, we have tons more English learning deep dives coming your way, so hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned.
Yeah, definitely subscribe. So, back to our deep dive on English small talk. We covered some things to avoid, but what about when things are going well? How do you keep those chats flowing?
Yeah, that's the part I'm always struggling with. Knowing what not to do is one thing, but actually making it work is another. What are some tried and true tips?
Well, first off, genuine interest goes a long way. Even if you're just making small talk about the weather, be present, Don't just wait for your turn to speak.
So really making eye contact, nodding, asking questions based on what they're saying.
Exactly. That's active listening. It's more than just hearing the words. You're picking up on their tone, their body language, the whole picture.
Like there's a whole other conversation happening under the surface. Okay, so I've heard compliments are good for small talk. But how do you give one that doesn't sound cheesy?
It's all about being specific and sincere. Like, instead of just saying, nice shoes, try something like, those shoes are a fantastic color. They really complement your outfit.
So you're noticing something specific, making it personal and thoughtful. Does it always have to be about appearance, though?
Not at all. You can compliment someone's work, an idea they shared, their positive attitude. The point is, you're recognizing something you genuinely appreciate, and that makes the interaction more enjoyable for everyone.
I like that. It's not all about the other person, though, right? You have to share a little about yourself, too.
Right. Small talk's a two-way street. Sharing something personal can help build trust, but there's definitely a line between that and oversharing.
Okay, so how do you strike that balance?
Think light and appropriate, a funny anecdote, a recent trip, even just your take on something in the news, just enough to show you're open to.
And hey, if all else fails, there's always those classic small talk topics. Hobbies, interests, anything you're really into.
Exactly. Enthusiasm is contagious, so if you're genuinely excited about something, it'll show.
Okay, so we've got active listening, compliments, sharing a little bit about yourself, finding some common ground. Anything else we should be keeping in mind to really master the art of small talk in English?
One thing people often overlook is tone and pace. English speakers, we use a lot of intonation, and the speed of conversation can change a lot.
So it's not just what you say, but how you say it. Like the difference between reading from a script and actually acting it out.
Precisely. If you're not sure, try subtly mirroring the other person. Helps you find that natural flow. But the goal is to develop your own comfortable style as you get more practice.
So kind of a balance between following the rules and letting your personality shine through.
Right. Because at the end of the day, small talk is all about connecting with another person. And that means being authentic.
I love that. But what about when it's time to wrap things up? How do you get out of the conversation without seeming rude?
The art of the graceful exit. That's a skill in itself. So the art of the graceful exit, it really is its own thing.
Okay, so give me some of those strategies. How do you wrap things up without seeming like you're running for the hills?
Well, you could start by expressing gratitude for the conversation. Something like, it was so nice talking to you, but I should probably let you get going. Or like if you're at a party or something, I'm going to grab another drink, but it was lovely chatting.
So you're acknowledging the interaction, ending on a positive note. No ghosting in the world of small talk, I guess.
Exactly. And if you think you might want to talk to them again, you can always offer to exchange contact info or connect on social media. You never know, small talk can lead to something more. A friendship or a business connection or just a more interesting commute.
Right, like they say, strangers are just friends you haven't met yet. And it all starts with those little chats.
Right.
So to wrap up our whole deep dive here, what's the one thing you really want people to take away about mastering small talk in English?
Don't be afraid to practice. The more you get out there and have those conversations, the more confident you'll become. And remember, everybody makes mistakes. Even native speakers mess up sometimes. The important thing is to relax, be yourself, and have fun.
I like that. Takes the pressure off. It reminds us it's all about connecting with people. So for everyone listening, work on those active listening skills. Don't be afraid to compliment someone and share a little something about yourself.
And be patient. It takes time to learn a language, but the rewards are huge when you can talk to people from all different cultures.
Couldn't agree more. Something as simple as small talk can really open up a whole world of possibilities.
Definitely. So embrace it and see how it transforms your experience with English.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive on the wonderful world of English small talk. Hope you enjoyed it, learned a few things along the way.
If you're looking for more language and culture tips, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We've got tons more deep dives coming up, all designed to help you communicate better in English.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time, happy chatting.